Hello, this is going to be a quick guide on how to do the dragon for Ark Survival Vault speedrunning for the default single player mode. Uh, so the basic strat is to use wolves and a megatherium to tank and just burst it down as quick as possible. Although it's not quite as simple as that, because we're going to be using a shotgun to cancel the animation of its summon animation so we don't get completely one-shot by the Pteranodons and the Dimorphodons, and to skip the fireballs, although the fireballs aren't that big of a deal. It's mostly we want to skip the summon part because that's going to really screw us over. As we don't have a great way of dealing with that, and we're very squishy and we're going to die. So what we're going to do is we'll use the Megatherium. Well, I mean, I'll describe it as we're going. So what we want is we want about 6 wolves with about 3, that's a bit too much, but about 300 damage each. You can get this about this much XP from riding a wolf near 2 XP notes. So if you give each wolf 2 XP notes, this should be enough for about this amount. I go with 6 because I don't know if this does anything, but you can have 2 pack leaders, and I don't know if it actually doubles the buff, or if I'm on the copium. But I've just used 6 because I like being able to. They're both able to use the wolf pack, the howl buff. And I don't know if it actually doubles off or anything, but I think 6 is just a good number. It works. You can have a little less, a little more. It's up to you. You can test out that with yourself, but I would recommend 6 with about 300 AD each. Now, I'd recommend a Megatherium because it can get under the. It's tall. It's big enough to aggro, but it's also gonna get under the dragon, so you can get under it. It's just a perfect size, and you're gonna have it on the speedrun anyway to clear caves. And these are about the stats you're gonna have. You want to have about 5k HP. Damage doesn't really matter, but you can probably have a little bit of damage in this thing, because you're gonna be using this to clear a lot of caves, like particularly the swamp caves. So you're gonna have it on you, so it's not gonna be a hard tame. You're gonna want to get these guys. You might even be able to use these for other bosses. It depends. I'm not 100% sure. Although they're likely gonna die in any other boss, unless you figure out a way to not let them die. There's probably a way if you micromanage them. Now, I'd also recommend you have a whistle order, so you can only whistle the wolves separately. But I'd recommend that. And also, I'll explain it more in the boss fight, but you'll want to make sure they're on aggressive, not attack this target. If you attack this target, it will bug out a lot of the time. So I would always recommend to just put them on aggressive. It won't bug out, and they won't stop attacking. And there's a few little tricks I'm going to show you. So we'll have the artifacts in here, and there's some positioning you're going to want. I'm going to walk you through the positioning, and then I'll try and explain the important stuff. And I'll turn down the volume of the game a lot so you can actually hear me. Okay, so alright, let's start. So once we go in, we're gonna want to get on our. We're gonna whistle our wolves to follow us. I'd also recommend having aggressive on a whistle. So we're gonna drag these guys over here. Actually, no, we're not. The first thing we're gonna do is, as soon as this guy turns around, we're gonna shoot him. Now we're gonna drag these guys over to here. Now we'll drag this guy over to about here. Sometimes the dragon is gonna you're gonna know this what you did worked if he gets stuck on this invisible wall here and goes down. Um, Now he's gonna come down like this, and he's gonna walk towards you. Now you want him to be about here, and then now this is gonna do that, and now you're gonna walk to the side like this, so he turns around. This is important, and you're gonna get off, and you're just gonna shoot. I'm gonna GCM just to make my life easier, so I don't die for the sake of the tutorial. Alright, so as you can see, it's very consistent. These guys don't take any damage. This guy should have been attacking. I'm not sure why he wasn't. It was probably bugged, but the important thing is, have these guys over here. You have to shoot it as it's turning on that first turn, and it will. I don't know why exactly. It aggroes it at the right time, and in a way where. And it will fly in a pattern where it gets stuck and then fly down. You then have one round of it being on the ground to kill it. It's going to run at your Megatherium. You're going to drag it to the side. This way, if you don't drag it to the side, not all your wolves will be able to attack it. They're going to get stuck on each other, like because they'll be on the side of the foot, and they won't always attack. This. If you drag it around, they will come underneath it or more spread out, and they will all be hitting it. If you don't drag it around, you will not consistently be able to do this. And then you want to have the shotgun, and you'll end up shooting about 50 bullets into the thing. Take maybe 70 just in case. But that's how you do it. I was in GCM just in case I died. You can take some med brews. But yeah, it's kind of not an exact science because of obviously this damage. The AD percentage is varied across all of them a little bit. But about 300. If you have 300 on average across the 6 of them, you'll be fine. They'll obviously whistle beforehand, but they'll not whistle. Sorry, they'll do the howl as long as you got the howl buff activated. You get the idea. This is pretty self-explanatory. Just shoot at the right time. You might want to practice it. It's got a pretty generous window, but just it's as it's turning. Want to have the positioning in about the same place I did. Sometimes the dragon is going to land behind you or inside the awkward spots, but if you do the positioning I did, you should get it pretty consistent. Just try and have the wolves in a spot where they're going to come in from behind so they don't get one shot. That's the main thing. I don't think there's anything else. I think the two key things are just shoot in the right spot, and then drag it around so the wolves all get access to it, because otherwise you're not going to have the DPS, because it's a very tight window. I wasn't actually sure I was going to do it that time, because there's another thing that I'm not 100% sure if this is correct, but when you drag it and you get this guy under, if you drag it around, I've found that he generally won't fly away as often, or he takes a lot longer, or he gets like stuck in the attacking mode. I'm not sure exactly. But I found he generally won't fly away super early, and if you drag it around. So that's the main two things. Shoot in the right spot is turning, and then drag around. You could see what I did. It's not that hard, but it's just a few tricks. The wolves are really easy to level, by the way. Just literally just 2 XP notes, and they have this enough damage. So I hope this helped. There might be other ways to cheese it, but this is the most cost-effective way I found. Because wolves are very easy to tame, very easy to level. You're already going to have the Megatherium. It's pretty efficient with what you have. You're going to have some shotgun shells. You're going to want about 50. But yeah, because if you don't shoot it, you're not going to have quite enough DPS. You might. It's really close, so just shoot it for safety. It's only 50 shotgun shells. Yeah, anyway. Hopefully that helped.